Er is veel ophef over de zogenaamde anti-homo-wet in Hongarije. Premier Rutte stelde zijn Hongaarse collega Orbán voor om uit de Europese Unie te stappen. Waarom is deze wet zo omstreden? En is deze wet wel anti-homo te noemen? De Hongaarse ambassadeur in Nederland, András Kocsis, stelt dat Hongarije wil vasthouden aan de christelijke normen en waarden. Welkom bij Uitgelicht. Goedenavond. Er is veel ophef over de zogenaamde anti-homo-wet in Hongarije. Is deze wet daadwerkelijk anti-homo? Bij ons in de studio de Hongaarse ambassadeur in Nederland, András Kocsis. Good evening, Mr. Ambassador.
Good evening. Goedenavond.
Goedenavond and good to have you here.
Thank you. Het is geweldig om terug te zijn.
Okay. Let's talk about the anti-gay law in your country. There is a lot of fuss about it. But what is in the law? What is the statement of the law?
First of all, this is not an anti-gay law. Mm-hmm. This law is about more severe punishment of the pedophile offenders and about protecting our children.
Okay.
So when it comes to adults, it has nothing to do with with how adults live their lives. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with the self-expression of the individuals in any way.
Yeah. And why does your country need such a law?
Yeah, of course, we saw that recently during COVID, but of course, even before that, the children must be protected from content that is not in accordance with their age, that is not suitable to them, you know, especially content whose central element is violence, aggression, or sexuality, pornographic content I'm talking about. And we thought it would be wise to give more protection to the children, because this law is not a new law in itself. It's a modification of previous laws, and we wanted to give more protection, to give more severe punishment of the offenders.
Okay, so there is nothing in the law about homosexuals?
It's nothing about how adult people live their lives. Yeah. So it's basically it's about two things. First of all, it gives to the parents the right exclusively to decide upon their sexual education of their children. Yeah. So it must be, parents must be able to decide how they would like to raise their children in accordance with their religious, philosophical, pedagogical convictions, and of course this is in full conformity with the EU Charter of Fundamental Rights, where Article 14 says exactly the same. So this is what this law is about.
Okay, but can parents tell their children that a marriage also is a marriage between two men?
Parents can tell their children whatever they wish to tell them. Yeah. Of course, it is not prohibited in any way. Mm-hmm. On the contrary, we want to give the parents, more rights, more possibility to discuss these issues. Okay. But I also want to stress that it's not prohibited by the law to give sexual education in the schools either. However, it must be done by qualified and qualified professionals, and authorized professionals.
Yeah, yeah. Why is the law then so controversial, you think? Not in your country, but abroad.
I think the main problem was that nobody read the law. Our critics did not read the law. Unfortunately, they just read the historical statements of Open Society affiliated pseudo civil organizations, and they simply copy pasted these statements. Yeah. So that is the main problem. So and nobody wanted to understand, the logic behind this law.
So there is no knowledge about that law.
No knowledge at all, because of course, if our critics would have read the law, they knew that there is nothing against the EU values, because of course Hungary as an EU country, we fully subscribe to these values, which are laid down in Article 2 of the Treaty of the European Union. So it has nothing to do with the EU values. It has to do with the fact that we would like to give these rights to the parents themselves, to decide upon the sexual education of their children.
Okay, let's get a broader view. What is the position of homosexual people in your country?
Homosexual people can live their lives freely in Hungary. There is no discrimination whatsoever.
Can they marry?
No, they cannot marry. What they can do is that they can conclude a so-called registered partnership. And in accordance with the law that has been in force since 2009, so this law has been adopted during the post-communist government in 2009, and the current government has not changed this law. It hasn't added a comma or took away a comma from this law. So this has been the situation since 2009. And there is no discrimination against LGBT people in Hungary whatsoever. They can work freely in Hungary, of course. And this non-discrimination, I also want to stress that it is included in the fundamental law of Hungary, which forbids any kind of discrimination, especially on the grounds of sexual orientation, race, color, political convictions whatsoever. So this is a constitutional protection, and we also have, in addition to that, we also have an Equal Treatment Act, which further, ensures this non-discrimination.
Yeah. So you say people can live their life and they don't have to worry about that someone or something will go for them.
No, because this law is not about them, it's not about adults, it's about protecting our children. Simple as that.
Okay. Let's go to our Prime Minister, Mr. Mark Rutte. He told Mr. Orban that it's better for him to leave the European Union because of this law. What's your comment about that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I should comment Prime Minister Rutte's remarks. Of course, last week during the European Council, all the prime ministers had the chance to discuss this issue. And I know that Prime Minister Orban explained, the motives and the rationale behind this law, and also the content of this law, because he also saw that, of course, the critics, the most vehement critics, have not read this law. So they had the chance to discuss it. Of course, Hungary does not want to leave the EU because, as I said earlier, because in our view, it has nothing to do with the EU values.
Now, did Orban directly talk with Rutte?
I don't know about that because I was not in the room, but I know that Prime Minister Rutte addressed Prime Minister Orban on this issue, and I know that he did reply to him. Yeah,
but Rutte took some undiplomatic words in his mouth. He said, "This is unacceptable, what you do in your country."
I know, and my Minister of Justice, Madam Judith Varga, has already replied to the statement of Prime Minister Rutte. So I would leave it at that.
You don't want to say it's unacceptable what Rutte says about about your country?
No, absolutely. I mean, we cannot accept that, of course, and especially because we think it has nothing against the EU values. Once again, we fully subscribe to those values. So no, we definitely think that it's not acceptable to talk about the country, to talk about the Prime Minister. And so we have already replied to those comments on behalf of the government.
Yeah, you replied also to Rutte, you as in person.
Yeah, I mean, as EU ambassadors, we regularly have meetings during every EU presidency with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And yes, I did have the chance to address this issue with the Prime Minister.
Okay, how did he react?
He reacted the way that he did previously, but I would rather not comment on that any further because it was a closed meeting, and I'm not authorized by Prime Minister Rutte to talk about.
Okay. Do you think the European Union will undertake legal action against your country?
I don't know. Probably they will. I cannot speculate on that. But what I know is that two commissioners have sent a letter to the Hungarian government. This letter has been replied by Minister of Justice Varga, and of course we will be absolutely cooperating with our European partners on this issue. So, but how they will decide upon it, it's up to them.
Up to them, yeah. How does Hungary view her place in the European Union? So, from your point of view, how do you see the European Union as a threat or as an economic bond with each other?
The European Union is our home. Hungary is our homeland, and the European Union is our home. Yeah. We Hungarians always felt that we belonged here. We belonged to the EU. Unfortunately, after the Second World War, it was not possible for us, to participate in the establishment of the European economic community. But we always felt that we belonged here. So that's why it was emotionally so important for the Hungarians to join the EU in 2004. Then again, having said that, we also see that, especially in Western Europe, there are different movements or thinking going on in the EU, which was not there, when the Iron Curtain fell in 1989, 1990. For instance, we also see that several countries, including the Netherlands, have created a kind of a rainbow societies, and of course we fully respect that. But
does the European Union can involve in your country and say that and that law is not correct?
We don't think so.
No.
If I can get back to that and finish that thought, so the Netherlands and other countries have created rainbow societies, which we respect, of course. But our society is not a rainbow society. Our society is a binary society. So the mother is a woman, the father is a man. Yeah. And all we want is that other countries respect this choice, because it has nothing to do with the EU values. It's a characteristic of the society to have a rainbow society.
I read somewhere in an interview with you that marriage is a holy thing between one man and one woman. You said.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you know the saying, roepende in de woestijn? It's a Dutch saying. It means, are you lonely crying in the desert, with your point of view?
We don't think so. There are other conservative governments in the EU as well. For instance, the Polish government. And we don't feel alone in this fight, if I can say that. But definitely, it is a fight that is worth fighting, and we will continue fighting.
Is Europe drifting away from their Christian roots then, you think?
The mainstream, absolutely.
And what does it say?
Well, I mean, we are drifting away from the Judean-Christian heritage of the founding fathers, because we are convinced that the founding fathers wanted to keep the European traditions of Europe. We in Hungary, we would like to preserve those traditions, and we would like to keep Europe European, and when it comes to Hungary, Hungarian Hungary.
Okay, but if you turn it around, then you also could say, if you see that Europe is drifting away, why don't you step out of the EU?
Because we belong here. We do not want to step out. We would like to contribute with our ideas to the future of the European Union, to the future of Europe, and that's why we think it's very important that this discussion has already started about the future of Europe. We will be heard. Our voice will be loud and clear in this.
You don't be silent.
No, we will not be silent. We will let our opinion be heard. and we would like to contribute to this discussion, because we do not want to leave the EU, but we would like to see the EU to head towards a different goal.
How do you see the future then, between now and, let's say, 5 or 10 years?
That's a difficult question. I mean, this discussion has just begun, so we are very much hopeful that it will result in preserving our European traditions, of course. But we cannot be certain of that, and we would also like to see, the inclusion of our Western Balkans friends, because we are convinced that they are also part of Europe, and if they are also part of Europe, their voice should also be heard.
Because I ask you that LGBT rights is not something fancy or something that's going away. It stays, I think. You agree with that?
I don't know if it will stay or not, but it has nothing to do with the EU values. I mean, it's not a value to be an LGBT society or a binary society. The most important thing is that to ensure non-discrimination of these people, and it is ensured in Hungary. And anything beyond that, it must be up to the individual member states.
I noticed that your constitution starts with God.
Yes, and it also it finishes with God.
Also,
yes, yes.
It's important.
It's important because Hungary was founded a bit more than 1,000 years ago, and we are very grateful for our Christian heritage and traditions. And back then the very first Hungarian king received his crown from His Holiness the Pope. So we still attach much importance to this.
Okay. Last topic, Mr. Kocsis, is about the Durban Conference in September. Your country will not go there, you stated. Why not? And what is the Durban Conference? What is it going about?
Yeah, the Durban Conference was launched, if I'm not mistaken, 20 years ago, in the pretext of fighting racism. But we see that instead of this, it has become a platform for anti-Semitism. And the various governments of Prime Minister Orban has been very vocal in his fights against anti-Semitism. We have a zero tolerance against anti-Semitism, and that's why we are not going to participate in this conference.
It's a big problem in Hungary, anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism, I think it's everywhere. But in Hungary, Jews can walk freely in their kippas. There is no security issue for the Jews. There is no security measures around synagogues. I mean, in Budapest, we have the biggest synagogue in Europe. Jews can walk freely, safely in Hungary. And, even we organize, there is this Jewish festival every year in Budapest. We have hosted the Maccabi Games. So Jews, they do feel safe in Hungary.
But back to the Durban Conference?
The Dublin Conference has become a platform for anti-Semitism. We are totally against it. And back then in December last year, when it was voted upon to convene this again, Hungary voted against. And right now we are the first EU country that publicly announced that we will boycott it because it serves only one goal, to give platform to anti-Semitism, and it's totally unacceptable.
And do you think more EU countries will follow your example?
Well, that I don't know, but I know that previously in the past there were some member states, EU member states as well, who boycotted this conference. Maybe they will follow our lead and they will not participate either.
Yeah, but do you say let's join and don't go to the conference as European Union?
It's our own decision. So it was our decision, to not to participate. We do not want to tell other countries what measures to take or not. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you very much.
Kocsis, Hungarian ambassador in the Netherlands.
Thank you.